Let's talk about something real. Trust. It takes forever to build and just a second to destroy. If you've ever been betrayed, lied to, or let down by someone you love, you know exactly how heavy it feels. Today, we're unpacking why trust is so hard to rebuild and when it's actually better to let go than keep holding on. Make we talk now. We're going to unpack this today. We'll soon come back. So yeah, we're back. And we're really just talking about broken trust, right? And the truth is, it really changes the entire energy of a relationship. You start questioning everything. Trust is like glass. It may be repaired, but the cracks often remain, even if you want to move forward. Part of you always really keep looking over your shoulder, thinking in your mind, this real, like, can I ever really trust this person ever again? And it's similar if you're in a marriage or just a regular friendship. But we're really talking about intimate relationships. So I would say you're in a committed relationship with your partner or you're in a marriage. In the case, whereas if you've been with someone for quite some time, I'm not really talk about, 6 months or so. You're getting to know somebody, but I'm talking about the time where you really spent in a committed relationship. And then for some reason, you found out that this person is highly deceiving you, right? And you just don't know how to move forward. Now, how I would see it is, for example, there is a relationship where a man decides to two-time woman. You have men who can be womanizing at times. And how I feel like, if it is that I'm committed to you and I'm in a relationship with you for over 7-8 years, whether it be a marriage or a committed relationship or a common law relationship, as we may call it, and then I find out that you're cheating on me, and not only cheating on me, you got somebody else pregnant. I don't know if for me, it's a personal situation, if I could move past that. Because sometimes having a child outside of a relationship, that is going to be the whole breaking point of it all. Now, the man might be like, you know what, I really don't want to lose this woman. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to seal it by marrying her. And no matter how much you try, trust is like glass. It may be repaired, but the cracks often remain. That's just point blank. Because you just never realize or never can comprehend if this person is just going to still stick with me. And funny enough, I know of a situation where something similar that really happened. And at the end of the day, the man still walk out and leave you. Him leave you, move on to somebody else. But to each his own, to each his own. Right? I'm not here to judge anybody, and I'm not here to put my beliefs on anybody. But as women, even for men, sometimes I really can't speak on a man's perspective, because as the podcast says, Ajamaicangyal perspective, I can't really speak so much as on for men. But I know that once the trust is broken, it's going to be very hard to rebuild, or may never ever come back to that point. So we can just really look at it in 10 signs of rebuilding trust, why it probably pretty much won't work. Because guess what? 1, apologies sometimes without change not really even make no sense. I just saw me see it. Point blank. You have constant anxiety and second guessing, right? You try to pretend and say, boy, where him there? If you live with this person, where he is at, what is he doing? It's like, you have like a deja vu moment, or you had something of a pattern that he was doing. It kind of come back to you and say, "Are this happen again?" I don't know. The rush of the healing process, that is the next thing. Like, if you're going to decide to take back somebody, if them step out on your relationship, especially getting a child, and you decide to, we're going to move on from it, because in the whole Jamaican society, people just say, guess what? Man cheat, man I go cheat, man I go look out there, and all of them things there. That is also debatable. I did have this debate as well with a friend. Like, it's 50-50. Man cheat, woman cheat, 50-50. I don't really... that's not my belief. I don't think that's the case. However, if you decide to rebuild your trust, even if it's not just trust based on stepping out in your relationship, but also in a financial situation too, because money is a next big thing in relationships. You can imagine you have your money in your account and you add your partner upon your account, and then when you go back into the account, the money gone. You understand? Because right now you also have people in marriages, like, they don't share accounts, and that is a whole different topic. Because at the end of the day, what is mine is yours, and what is yours is mine. I'm not married, don't get me wrong, but if I'm supposed to be with somebody, I honestly believe that we're supposed to have a common ground, and the trust supposed to be there. And point blank, if we can't have a joint account and the money stay there, that means I don't trust you. And if I cannot trust you, I don't want to be with you. I just saw me see it. And point blank. Now, the next thing, let's say the man step out on you because you're in a relationship, and him step out, or the woman step out on you, but then he decides to, all right, then back to the point, you're going to work through it, right? But at the end of the day, you are the one doing all the work. If you're going to rebuild a relationship and you're the one who doing all the work, it ain't gonna work. Because both of you never come to that common ground and be like, you know what? Let's just go back to where we were coming from. Let's try to separate and see where the cracks they start to develop, or how to mend the cracks, or when things started to deteriorate. Let us both work on ourselves and work through how best we can overcome any breakdown in our relationship, or in, vice versa, in our relationship, however you want to put it, to be honest. So, I don't know, because on a emotional side or on an intimate side of whether it be a husband and a wife or a common law situation, when you look at it to say, okay, if it is that my partner is doing something that I can't really get past, then I honestly feel like maybe you both need to just walk away. And we're going to talk about that at the end, right? So sometimes when you look at it too, the repeated patterns of betrayal, just sometimes they really can't get over that either, right? You're building something, but yet still you look on it and you say, oh, I'm gone out late at night again, or me no know where him there. If me call him, me can't hear from him. It's just ridiculous. Or it doesn't be that, like, the money spending on the financial side, like there is no checks and balances. You see the same things happening, and at the end of the day, I just feel like people just need to really sometimes start loving yourself. To be honest, start putting yourself first And it kind of sounds selfish. And when I tell people that, you know what, I'm going to put me first. I'm not talking about the sense where, on the spiritual side, because, people say, but you have to put God first. I'm not talking about that, people. Like, I'm talking about the fact that you need to sometimes put yourself first. Easier said than done, yes. Especially if you are in a common law. Let's talk about the common law side of it, right? You're living with this person, and for years, so we're going to put it to say 8 years. And once again, that is our next topic to talk about. Because based on the beliefs and situations, I am not going to put myself in a situation where, I'm going to be committing all this time and energy in a relationship. And at the end of the day, I feel like I can't really walk away from it. But once again, to each his own. I'm not there to judge nobody. You understand? I'm just talking. It is a candid viewpoints here, opinion. This is all my opinion. This is just how I feel. And you can beg to differ, but I'm just state some points and just to highlight certain things as well, right? And in a marriage, vice versa. And it also come back to the point where people need to be independent too. Because once you start putting yourself first, you start loving you, and you start to be independent in a relationship, then if somebody does something to you and you feel like this is unforgivable, you need to start to do some recollection and start to say, okay, how can I move forward, right? As I said before, I've had friends and people who spoke to me about situation and be like, as I said, I know this lady, and she was like, I can't trust him. Like, I don't know. So I said to myself, okay, you can't trust him. So what is it that you're going to be doing differently? Are you willing to walk away? Are you not willing to walk away? Because guess what? You took yourself and you commit all your life savings and your energy into a relationship, thinking that both of you in this together. But at the end of the day, you're just not walking away because you've invested so much time and energy. And back to the point, people need to sometimes start choosing self-love, loving yourself, and knowing self-worth to know when something is not going to work. Having accountability is a next thing. If you don't have accountability on the mistakes that you have made, or if both of you can't come to that conclusion to say, you know what, both of us play a part in the breakdown of the relationship, right? Then it's also not going to work if you decide to rebuild on something that is already broken. You understand? So a lot of times we beat up ourselves. I know that I for sure do that so many times, like in my life. Like I beat up on myself and be like, Chanel, you made this mistake. This is on you. And but people always say, okay, you don't take accountability. I do take accountability. Not because most times I probably don't come to you and tell you that, okay, yes, I understand and all of this and X and so forth, because trust and believe. Taking accountability sometimes I also look like me just probably blocking you. Or if I don't block you, I'll probably just remove myself from situation and I probably don't talk back to you. Simple. That is sometimes me taking accountability for some of the mistakes that I've made in my life and in my relationships. Right? I'm not wrong with that too either. But there's another topic and there's so much other things that we can also address when it comes to all of that. Now, let's say in a relationship, right? And the person is becoming defensive when questioned. Like once the person look at me and be like, oh, so what you mean? And why you asking me this? Or me can't go yes or me can't do this. Both of us accounts, or this is what I should be doing. I'm your partner. Stop holding on to the past. If you hold on to the past, goodie, I'm gonna just tell you, say, listen, it not gonna work. And if the person I be defensive sometimes. Most of the times, I may probably say 80% of the time, then probably do the same thing, to be honest. It's a matter of deflecting. People love to deflect, and once it is that it's coming, the spotlight a shine upon them are going to start to deflect, and them are going to start get defensive, and them are probably do the same thing. And if you cannot sometimes just say, here what? This is what I mean, and this is what I say, and this is how we are going to work through it. And if that common ground cannot come into play, then yeah, it's going to be difficult to rebuild on that relationship, right? And as I said, back to the same point, you probably start lose yourself too, right? The person, you come here, you're with this man, or vice versa man, you're with a man, and you just start losing yourself. You start losing yourself trying so hard to make something work. And at the end of the day, you blame everybody else but the person who probably made that mistake, whether it be the woman or whether it be the man. You're blaming everybody else. You're unsure of your own self to say, you know what? What are my values? What am I even doing here? And a lot of times, I believe that women just stay in relationship just because sake, right? And a few other things, as I said. Sometimes you're just not independent. You just don't know how to love yourself. And from the beginning, you never love yourself from the start. And you have to learn how to cope too. In the sense of, if that comes into the form of maybe just staying by yourself and just reflecting and just going through life alone. When I mean alone in the sense of not having an intimate partner. Because I'm not really talking about friendships here. I'm mostly talking about, I probably should have said this before at the initial stage of this chat along. It's most of an intimate relationship side of it. And I probably can touch on friendships as well to some extent. And with friendships, it's also kind of fickle in how you go about things. But I always say to most of my friends, or when I have some chats with my good close friends, I would say, you know what, it's so easy for women to take back a man. Like on a woman's side, it's so easy for a woman to take back a man. Your man do something to you, your man, really hurt you in that detriment way. But because sometimes if we do not want to be lonely, and when loneliness sets in, we decide to choose that someone to fill that gap rather than just separating yourself from toxicity, right? However, make your girlfriend do something to you as a friend, and you're quick for cut her off. And I was listening to this good podcaster, and he said, you know what? You need to start loving people for who they really are. And it was on the basis of a friendship. Like, this person, how they are. And I'm not going to say that you're enabling them, right? However, as a friend, you're supposed to have common grounds. And the majority of my friendships, I've never really said, I've never had a friendship whereas it start off with, I don't like this person. Point blank. That's just not me. Everybody's personality is different. If I see you, I cannot say, oh, I don't like you. If I really don't like you, or my spirit don't take you, as Jamaican would I say, my spirit don't take you, so I'm not like, if my spirit don't take you, I'm not going to be your friend. Simple. And most of my close friends will have similar traits and characteristics. One of my closest friends, you might hear us on a podcast together, sorry guys, that she said, oh, you sound like your friendie, because I've always been like, you sound like your friendie, or boy, I say, girl, gally, that's why me and you are friends, because we have similar thoughts, similar attitudes, similar traits. Whether near or far, we have the similar traits going right there, right? So I don't mean to go off on a tangent. Most of these podcasts will go off on a tangent, guys, so just bear with me. But if you have differing views, we're always open and we're always willing to listen. But in terms of the whole friendship side of it, as I said, as girls, ladies, we easy for cut off of friends or people who have been there for us, but you don't what I word they call reciprocate the same energy when the man them do you wrong. Like, why don't you just move on? Me not understand, and I've come to a point in my life for sure where for me, because I say sometimes I get bored and sometimes I by myself and I say, I need to call him. Like, hey, how are you? What going on with you? But listen, I stop doing that. I stop doing that. Because you see, once you stop reciprocate the energy that I'm giving to you, I am not going to be reaching out to you. Trust. I don't have to block you. You might just don't hear from me. In a real sense, in a real form, you just won't hear from me anymore. I'm not going to be following up on you. I'm not going to check up on you. So, yeah. And whether it be intimate relationship or, courting, dating, whatever it may be, like, as soon as, because I had to analyze that. I had to unpack that, to be honest, for myself. I was like, why is it so easy for me to, if I have a friend or somebody who do me something who is not on the intimate side of it, like, it's so quick for me to detach because I'm like, okay, I don't need this. And one of the things why you're so easily to be detached is because you feel like you have other people in your corner. But when it comes to a partner or somebody you're choosing is to spend your life with, you're gonna be like, but this is my soulmate. It's not like I can just get up tomorrow and just find somebody new, it's gonna take some time, right? And as I always say, singleness does not equate to loneliness. So sometimes some of us just need to work with that. And then the other thing is too, so back to the relationship side of it, guys. And next thing is where we're in the time of social media, and everybody might say social media is not a real place, right? And whatever you put out there on a YouTube channel or a TikTok or a Instagram is just a 5 minutes or a 45 seconds of a video or an intro or whatever it is. You really don't know me as a person, right? And yet still, when we have our relationships, we try to prove that it's all good and dandy because we're trying to say, hey, I'm going to make this marriage work. I'm going to make this relationship work. Whether it is, it's abusive or not only physical abuse, but it could just be verbal abuse. And this relationship is just not working out for you. Let me tell you something. I'm big on emotions, big on emotions for me. And I have to be with somebody who is emotionally intelligent. And sometimes women and men need for sometimes look into that too. Sometimes not just a pretty face and what a person have and all that. Yes, there's a lot of things that comes into a relationship as a 360 fold. But at the end of the day, if you're not emotionally intelligent, I am not able to be with you and I'm not going to be staying around with you. I am so sorry. So guess what? You see, before me start lose myself, I go just wrap it up. And this is my big talk. This is not serving me anymore. Whether it be for a work relationship, intimate relationship, friendships, and to be honest, I might give you 1, 2, 3, strike you out. Honestly, I not have the time to lose myself in certain things. I make a buckle too sometime. It's not always easy, but we have for some time, we have to just, looking at ourselves, looking at the mirror. Listen to me. You have to look into your mirror, and if you start can't recognize yourself, then it's time to let us just pack it up, right? And it comes back to the same point too. You feel emotionally unsafe, huh? Yeah, emotionally unsafe. You're with this person and you have no idea how or what this person is doing for you, right? How are they making you? You have anxiety through the entire relationship. May I tell you the truth? Like emotionally unsafe. So, I mean, sometimes we have to just unpack all of them something here, right? We're going to bring it back. Apologies without change, constant anxiety and second guessing, right? You rush the healing process because you have some men for just try to put a band-aid over it and them say, all right then, I'm so sorry, da da da. You know, the toxic man them, yeah. Or the toxic woman them, yeah. But on this side, the toxic man them, oh, you know what, I want to marry you. Or we're going to get married, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Oh, let's buy a house together. You know, them start to make some big changes and say, okay, yeah, say, oh, am I change now? You know, big commitments. So yeah, so am I healing process and on still now work things out. You're doing all the work and nothing now happen. Still nothing now change because guess what? It remains the same. Right? Them come defensive. You start questioning them no want answer you a problem. You start losing yourself and then you feel emotionally unsafe. All of these things lead back to that point. Emotionally unsafe, right? And some of us probably need to start with therapy too. I don't know. I don't think the whole Jamaican crowd big on therapy. I'm not sure. I've not done a survey. This is just my opinion. But if more people tap in to therapy, I've never been to therapy, but I'm very self-aware. For all my 30 odd years and plus my life, I'm very self-aware and I can tap in. And there's a lot of other emotions that I could tap into. And I feel like I could connect with myself more if I probably go to therapy. I have close friends who's gone to therapy and they say it's working out for them. And yeah, but sometimes once that portion of it just not allowing you to just feel free. Love nice, you know. I've never been married and I would love to be married someday, but I know say love nice in a relationship when you can't get enough of that person. And I'm not talking about sexually here. Like, sex is just an add-on to any relationship, I guess. Or, you know, that's what they say. Sex is just an add-on, right? But you have to build your relationship on more than just sex. And when you do that, when you love your partner, and then somebody say, sometimes you cannot define the love, but it's how you express the love. And what you also need to find out from a partner, and when your partner finds this out about you, is what gets you ticking, right? Because in a relationship, for a trust to be broken is sometimes the love. And maybe I say, oh, you drop out of love or you fall out of love. Or so most of the time we're just infatuated with people. And as I said, you're trying to prove things to other people than yourself. Or yourself too, to say, oh, I can stick this out. And it's really not even a love. There's no love in the relationship, to be honest. No love. And yeah, sometimes it's also okay with people also training you to also accept that and know when to move on. So that's why it's a big part in getting to know someone. So what is your love language? When your partner is able to identify your love language, and I would say, people say, if you just start getting to know someone, right? Don't tell them, every single thing about yourself just from day one. When that person tries to learn who you are and understand, and after some time, I'm going to be like, hey, babe, you've been taking all my love. You've been taking all the boxes. This is my love language and you've been hitting it there. And this is how you can now start to articulate in words what your love language is. That is just my point of view. I feel like if you're getting to know somebody, let them just spend time with you. Whether it be on the phone, you have dates, just constant check-ins just to get to know you. And then gradually you will see if this person is tapping in to your love languages. Because at the end of the day, I just feel like if you tell someone to say, oh, this is my love language, they're going to try to love bomb you, right? They're going to love bomb you. And people can love bomb you for like a good 5 years too. And till them just get tired. And them can't keep it up. But growing into that love makes a whole lot of difference, for sure. So once your love language and your desires can be met, I feel like it's harder for you to look in and, getting that relationship and the breakdown of the trust at that point. Sometimes we might say, okay, I think I spoke on it and you might hear it in a previous podcast or one to come. Why do men cheat? Why do people cheat? Right? And if you're a Christian, you're listening to this podcast, Christian people cheat too. They even cheat on God. So, but there's so much to really unravel in that situation and some circumstances, and it can come from both men and women. And the next point is really transparency can also be missing, right? And as I said, getting to know somebody from inception and or when you're in a relationship for quite some time, whether it be a marriage or, as I said, common law relationship, there's a transparency gone. You just start hide who you really are, right? You can't break down anymore because they say, oh, you're too emotional. You just cry. You do this and whatever. Vice versa. Them just all everything just wrapped up. Them can't open up themselves to you anymore. And as I say, if you're not the transparency, it just not gonna really work out in terms of rebuilding your relationship. Oh my gosh, I can't speak tonight. And forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection. Sometimes people just have to understand, say, I forgive you, I love you for who you are as a person, but yeah, and that's just what it is. Because back to my point that I made earlier, so just imagine now your partner step out on the relationship, and it has to be something, and it's not always a one-sided thing, right? It's not always a situation whereas the man just womanizing or the woman just feel that she ready and she not get what she wants, so she's gonna step out on the relationship. But whatever it is, because there's a lot of situations as to what could take part in that, as to why it not gonna work out. But I honestly feel like if your man cheat on you, especially in a marriage, and if you're unable to work through it based on all the different things that comes along with rebuilding trust, you have to just know when to say, I forgive you, but we're just probably just not gonna reconnect, or we have to really put in the work to have that reconnection. I just saw it go, because you can't expect to say that, okay, I forgive you, but me a whole out pan sex, or me a whole out pan my finances, and me not gonna tell you nothing back to the whole transparency thing. And you do one thing and it just starts set off a whole different level in the relationship. We have to sometimes be vulnerable. For trust to be rebuilt, you have to be vulnerable on both sides of the coin. So then you might say, all right then, Chanel, fine. It sounds like you're telling me, say, if my man cheat on me, if my husband cheat on me, if I left him. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should. But to be honest, for me, it's going to be hard for me to forgive you. Forgiveness is good, but does the forgiveness means that I need to reconnect with you? And to be honest, when it's really time to walk away, you no longer feel emotionally safe. It's just point blank, because if I can't trust you with my emotions and how I feel, and we're not connecting, then I just need to walk away. And rebuilding is going to cost you your peace, because it not go easy, gally. It not go easy, sir. It not go easy. I'm out here trying to just look into everything and be like, okay, mega be troubled, mega probably be triggered. Like if I see you with somebody, or if my money go down in my account, mega be triggered. I'm mega say, me remember this, or me see patterns. I'm gonna be like, oh God, this happened to me. You know? So if you're gonna be triggered, then, and it's not to say that you can't try. Right? You can always try to see if it will work, and if it don't work, you just probably just have to just walk away from that situation, whether it be a situationship, relationship, friendship. Just walk away from it. And love shouldn't feel like a survival. At no point in time it should feel like, yeah, just try to survive it through. Once again, there are a lot of factors that can come into play. You can say, oh yeah, but we'll have kids together. We'll have an empire together. Back to the point, and you're going to probably hear it again, and I'm probably going to always talk about it. Going into a relationship should never be 50-50. Going into a relationship, you should always be a 100% whole. Right? And throughout the relationship, you should always still remain 100% whole. And that is why a lot of times when relationships fall apart, people fall upon them face flat. But if you fall upon your face flat, that don't mean say you can't work to build yourself up and get up from where you drop off. That's also a possibility. Right? A lot of time being single, you feel like, oh my gosh, the bills, them, may I tell you, everything is just you, girl. I'm going to feel like the God said, listen to me, you try to be strong for you. Because at the end of the day, you have to be 100% whole in that relationship, whatever it may be. You have to be able to show up for your own self before you can start show up for other people. Right? So people always make this excuse to be like, oh, we have a lot of things going on, and at the end of the day, this man or woman just will keep on embarrassing you. Baby, he will. She will. But I've been saying, I'm gonna start with a man. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate men. Love men. There are good men out there. Hard to find them, but yeah, we're gonna work with it. But just I say, just be 100% real with yourself. Right? You go in, you start dating, stop solely. Trust me, I love a alpha male. For me, I love a alpha male. As I said, I love to drive my own vehicle, and I love to be able to drive my own things and do my own things when I need to do it and know how to do it. Certain things, yes, me gonna make a man. If me have a man in my life, me want him to do, but in a means, say me can't do it myself. Or everything is in life is figure outable. You just figure it out. It might be hard at first, but you will figure it out. So stop, look on it and say, oh, we have kids. We have all of this together. You know, and then sometimes that's also cool too. But how can you plan your way out of that relationship? If it's not healthy, baby, just walk away. And I'm going to say, just come back down to the point that sometimes walking away isn't quitting. It's just choosing yourself. So, a lot of time you might be like, oh, I'm married for a year, or in a one relationship, I'm going to start with this person, and staying can cause you even more harm and detriment. Trust me, I know I have pearls and I have gems. If I could, what I know now, if I could tell my 20-year-old self, I'm like, girl, just walk away. Just walk away, because if you just did walk away, you wouldn't be where you are right now. But sometimes a lesson is a blessing, right? So yeah. But you just have to sometimes just choose yourself, point blank. No matter, skirt around the situation. I be like, oh boy, and then by the time you know it, time fly really fast. By the time you know it, like I say, what the hell? Like, I really spent 5 years of my life with this person, and what did I get out of this? Hurt, trauma, turmoil. Them show me who they are, and then sometimes, at the end of the day, it's not even the fact that they're constantly doing it over and over again to, whatever it is that would have caused that relationship to be broken and for the trust to be broken. It could just be a situation that it happened one time and you just can't get over it. And you just have to just love you. And you have to probably just love the person from afar and say, you know what, we have to just leave this. And then at the next thing too, people like that, oh, I got married and I'm a married woman. And sometimes you're married and it's not with your soulmate. And why I can say that too, why is it that when somebody, let's say I've seen situations where the person partner dead, and you say, boy, our husband dead, my wife dead, but yet still them have a next marriage, and that blossoms into one of the most beautiful love stories. Take it up with God, me no know, but I just saw the thing God, people feel like, oh, I'm married and this is it, and God, who tell you that was God's will in the first place? Who tell you say, God tell you say, that person there are for you? Sometimes the reason why some of we have so much bag of problem and crosses in our life are because we really deal with the wrong people. And God will try to give you one bag of signs, and God will make the trust where it did break, torment you, and you need to walk away. Remember me tell you that? So we'll be like, oh, I'm married. And listen, for the single woman them out there, sometimes these married people ain't got nothing on you. Them life miserable. Remember me tell you that. And before you put yourself with people, it's really big to get to know them. I mean, you might say, boy, yeah, but can you really get to know somebody? Yes, you can. Take the time to get to know people. Figure them out. I mean, I'm big on a big love story, and you're caught up in the love and all of that, and I meet it today, and 3 months down the line, oh, I'm so in love, and I'm going to tell you, them true colors will eventually show. And if you want to know somebody true colors, spend every single moment of the day trying to connect with them at some point, whether you see them, or every day, I should say, not every single moment, but like every day, whether you're trying to see them, talk to them, be with them in many different ways, and you can get to know somebody. Pretty much. I know it was a long rant, but to be honest, like, trust can be rebuilt, but only when both people are willing, honest, consistent for sure. And if it's just you fighting for it, it's really okay to step back. You deserve a love that doesn't require constant repair. We just have to stick up on that and just let's just take that in. Let's take it in. You deserve a love. Love you. When you start loving yourself, I'm telling you, it can be a beautiful thing. In the means, say, the silence can be overwhelming at times. Like, I know what I'm going to do. But you know what? Just choose you. And if both of you got to decide for work on it, choose the love. And if the love not there when you really pray it, then walk away. I always use a thing where I tell my friends, I don't know if I remember, but I always say, and I don't know where I got it from. I know I got it from somewhere. This wasn't based on life lessons for sure. It was like, if the bad outweigh the good, then I'm gonna walk away. And these good meaning that I need to put it down on. I'm a pen and paper kind of girl, right? And when I take my pen, and if I keep writing all the bad, and sometimes I have to just sit down and I'm like, okay, why do I love this person? Why should I be with this person? And why should I stay with this person? So one, you're going to really do that at first, right? And then you have to sometimes start analyze and evaluate the situation again. So yes, you might decide that, okay, we're going to rebuild on this. We're going to see if it's going to work. And give yourself some time. You can sometimes take a 6 months or a year or two from now. A year or two can seem long still. I'm not going to care about you. But you still need to revisit that list. And if the list remain the same or even get worse, we're going to walk away. But, if it hits home, drop a comment and tell me, what's one thing trust taught you the hard way? Boy. That's a good one. And let me just leave it with this note. I think for me, as I said it in a lot of the chatter earlier, but you're trusting, I think for me, trusting someone, openly, and for them to then years after tell that, oh, you were naive, but it wasn't me being naive. And because that person don't even know what loyalty is and what trust is, they're going to say that you're naive. So call it naive, but I call it trusting. Trusting the wrong person. So I trusted the wrong person with a love so pure. And when it became time, when I started seeing the cracks, I'd be like, oh no, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick it out because I already opened up myself for this person. And, I would say a good girl in some sense. But you don't want to start over. Right? And starting over and a broken trust cost me my peace, my sanity, the way how I love in the future, the way how I love myself, the way how I see myself, and sometimes how others see you and how you are able to show up for other people in your life, whether it be good or bad. For the most part, it was bad. But then, I had to learn how or relearn certain thoughts and behavior. And it's to be honest, that it's having that, giving somebody trust and saying that, oh my gosh, I trust you with my heart and my love and I'm pure and I'm being real to you, make you really start pre other people in a whole different light. And it cost me peace. It gave me a lot of, like when you're going to war, I don't want to compare it to war. What love is a war? Love is a battlefield. Yeah. And it triggers me sometimes because based on what happened then made me make some of the decisions that I made then, which caused me triggers now, and then it's just a whole thing. But we're gonna leave it at that, right? But we're working through it nonetheless. We're working through it. I mean, trust is very hard to rebuild, as I said before, and it's how we're gonna work through it, how we're gonna love ourselves, how we're gonna move on from it. And if you have something to share, just drop a comment, drop a like. It's all good. It's all love over here. I mean, a lot of these things, everything that I say, is my opinion. Just my opinion. Don't come for me. And we're going to just leave it at that. All right? So cool. Talk to you soon.